Greetings, Earthlings! Before we start exploring, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, wherever you're listening. It helps more people find the show and supports our mission of making science accessible to everyone. You're here with DJ Stellar Cloud. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back to the Exploring Your Universe radio show. Exploring Your Universe is LA County's largest science fair. I am trying to win more titles as we speak. If anyone wants to do a Google search for me, that would be amazing. Exploring Your Universe this year is going to be on UCLA's Court of Sciences from 12 to 5 on Sunday, November 8th. Mark your calendars for Sunday, November 8th. That means no one can tell me you're not coming because you're too tired from Halloween. You will have had a full 9 days to recover. You are listening to DJ Stellar Cloud and
DJ Sunspot.
DJ Sunspot, aka Liz Casillas, is one of my close personal friends from the Earth Planetary and Space Sciences Department, where she studies the sun, one of our very rare heliophysicists. At Exploring Your Universe, you are most likely to find her at the booth titled Our Magnetic Sun, where she volunteers with her son. Oh, that is so funny. The sun physics, and that you're there with your son. Anyway, tell us a little bit about Our Magnetic Sun. What happens there?
Yes, so Our Magnetic Sun is the booth where we talk about everything solar or helio physics. In the department, we have space physics, which is the study of basically how the sun and the plasma from the sun interacts with everything in our solar system. But my group is kind of the only group that actually does the heliophysics part, just studying the sun.
Yeah.
So what we have at our booth, it's a lot of information about the sun, about, we have a lot of images from the sun, a lot of spectral images. We have information on Parker Solar Probe, which is a spacecraft that my PI, Marco Velli, he is very involved in. We get our data from there, and it's the very first spacecraft to go and touch the sun, as they have on, their tagline. Yeah. So yeah, the first spacecraft to go touch the sun, and things on Solar Orbiter, another spacecraft that's out there getting closer and closer. So we just try to educate people about the sun, and our big draw is the solar telescopes we have. Oh. So if you see a big line for telescopes, that might be our booth. We have an H alpha and a white light telescope. Sometimes we only have one, sometimes we have both. But yeah, you can come on by and we will show you the sun if it's out that day, if it's not cloudy, so you can see how the surface of the sun looks.
Very cool. One of the words you mentioned, plasma. We actually have a pretty in-depth definition of plasma in our first ever episode with DJ Swan. That's Emmanuel Masong's song. And we're not going to cover it today because it's a little bit too much, but what I want you to explain is what a solar telescope is. I think usually we're told not to look directly at the sun, like not even with sunglasses, I don't think. You need these like very specialized instruments to do so.
Yes, never look at the sun without any protection. I know that, you've seen during eclipses, you have special glasses that you look at the sun with, right?
Yeah, they look like 3D glasses.
Yes, they look like 3D glasses, but it's like a little black film. You should never look at the sun without any kind of protection or filters. So what we have on our telescopes, they're not normal telescopes. They have filters, a white light filter and a H-alpha filter that helps us to basically not hurt our eyes.
Okay, so what exactly do you mean when you say H-alpha?
So an H-alpha filter is a specific filter that isolates a specific wavelength of light emitted from the sun. And there's different types of emissions depending on the element. You can have iron, you can have hydrogen. So for this one, it's a hydrogen.
Gotcha. So people do make these for like different elements, but since the sun is mostly hydrogen, we're looking
you have different ones. You can do an iron one. I can plug a little website that you can go and look at different wavelengths, basically.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Because you can look at iron, and it kind of shows you different layers of the surface of the sun, depending on which one you're looking at.
That's right, layers of the sun.
Right. So you can look at the chromosphere, you can look at the photosphere, depending on what wavelength you're looking at, it's easier to see. But the one we have for the filter, it's that H-alpha one for the EYU.
Okay, and then what exactly is the white light one? Are we looking at white light, blocking out white light?
So for the white light filter, it's more designed to block like about 99% of sunlight.
Yeah.
And so you can safely look at the surface of the sun, or the photosphere, and see features like sunspots, which is my name.
Okay, let's get into sunspots really quickly then. So, I know people say like the sun has freckles, and I think it's kind of a misunderstanding that sunspots are hotter than the rest of the sun because they're actually cooler. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so what causes a sunspot and why are we interested in them?
So the sun is, it's kind of a giant magnet, right? So
Yeah, I want to know why our sun is magnetic.
Right, so it's a giant magnet. It has a dynamo that creates magnetic fields, and so these fields that are created, we have a solar cycle that goes from maximum to minimum, and we have a flip of the poles, the magnetic, the positive and negative. So as we're in a solar minimum, we have these sunspots that are basically areas of large magnetic activity, right? Like there's magnetic activity that's different there than in other areas.
That's so cool. So people who come to your booth can literally see these spots from the telescope. Like normally you're walking around, but you don't know that they're happening personally.
Right. And so that solar cycle I was talking about, when you're at a minimum, you see a sunspot here and there, you know, they're here and there. The sun is always active. You're never not, well, sometimes there's barely any. But right now we're at a maximum where we have more activity from the sun. And that's actually very correlated with how many sunspots there are on the sun. When you have a lot of sunspots, you're usually at a solar max. And when you're decreasing, you're going down to a solar minimum, you have less sunspots. So right now, people were able to see quite a few sunspots and features on the sun.
That is very, very cool. So if you attend EYU 2026, you'll probably be in luck.
Yes, we're probably on the declining phase, but you're still at a good point. We're not at a minimum for a while. So next year, or this year actually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this year,
in 5
you're
months.
probably going to see some sunspots still.
Very, very cool. When you say like right now or like later, what is the time scale of like solar maximum versus minimum?
So it's an 11-year.
11 years. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's an 11-year. Actually, technically, it's 22. Because you go through a solar max and a solar minimum, right?
Yeah.
And it takes a while to get through there. But for a good couple years, you're at a maximum, or for a good couple years, you're at a minimum. So you're able to definitely see a lot of sunspots during solar maximum for a couple years.
Our attendees are just so lucky. Also because they get to meet you at the booth. So stuff that I know about your booth is that you guys always request markers. Are people drawing what they see in the solar telescope?
So those, the spectra that I was talking about before, right?
Yeah.
There's a spacecraft at L1 in space that are taking images of the sun at all times in different, elements, like I said, like iron or hydrogen. And those are all really pretty pictures of the sun, right? When you see a picture of the sun in the news right now, it's probably one of those images, right? An iron image or a H-alpha image or something like that. And you can draw, if you're at a solar maximum, you're going to have a lot of features on a sun. So you can draw a good amount of those features, right? You can get yourself a maybe orange or a yellow marker and a black marker, and you can draw what features you see on the sun, like filaments or sunspots or anything you can really see on there. So a lot of kids will come by and we'll show them these pictures or videos of eruptions and things like that, or like coronal mass ejections or something. And we'll ask them, if you want to draw it, go ahead, here are all these markers. And a lot of kids leave us with some of them take them home, but some of them leave us with really nice artwork of these features or coronal mass ejections and things like that.
That is so cool. Are the extra photos up in your office or something?
We do have a lot of them in our office, yeah.
Oh my god, can I have one?
You can have some, yes.
Wait, that would make me so happy.
There is a lot. We have a big stack because we can't put them up.
Yeah.
So we have a big stack every year. We get, it keeps getting bigger.
Aw. That's really sweet. I love that for you guys. Something that we briefly touched on earlier is that you normally volunteer with your son. I think that's so cool. How many years have you guys been volunteering?
I think he's been here, 3 times. Yeah, I mean, he's a teenager, so I said, hey, do you want to come help out? And he's like, okay, sure, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
And he likes to kind of help out and be with the college kids.
Yes.
And do the whole thing. So I think he likes the fact that he's here in a college and helping out.
That's so cool. And you've been the booth leader now for 3 years?
I've been the booth leader, I think, twice. Before that, it was a postdoc that was here before me, and then he got another job. So now, you know, we trade off to see who's going to run it each year. I think I've done it twice, and for the fourth times that I've actually attended. Yeah,
That's so cool. You've been to 4. Me too. And I'm assuming that you are going to run it back again this year.
I believe so. Unless one of the newer students, he's a third year or fourth year, I believe now, might want to do it. You know, so if he wants to do it, it's totally, you know, I won't get in the way. I'm still going to help.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Are there any particular anecdotes that you happen to remember from being part of the booth that you want to share before we move on?
I think it's always a great experience. I don't think there's a particular anecdote that will encompass the experience. It's more of what happens every time somebody looks through a telescope that I like. You know, at night, you're used to seeing through telescopes at night. You're used to seeing, but when we tell people, you know, they'll come up to the telescope and say, you know, what are you looking at? Because it's not nighttime, you know, so you don't expect to see a telescope. And when we tell them it's the sun, and they say, are you sure? Like, we could look at it right now?
Oh, that's true. For a lot of people, it's probably their first time looking at the sun.
Well, and they're also wondering why we're staring at the sun. Isn't that bad for your eyes?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, and then we explain, you know, we have special filters.
Yeah.
So you can see what's on the surface of the sun. And they're immediately like, wait a minute, I definitely want to see this. And they're always surprised by the fact that you can see these features, right? You can see the sunspots, you can see filaments and prominences with the other filter. You can see a lot that you didn't know was there.
Yeah.
And then they start asking more questions and more questions. And some people do come by and hear, you know, they heard about like the aurora and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And that is all connected to the sun. So then we'll talk to them about, you know, a lot of people, when I tell them I work with the sun, they're like, well, tell me what's so cool about it. You know, you grow up with the sun being this, what people think is a ball of fire on the, you know, in the sky.
In the corner of your paper, wearing little sunglasses.
With little sunglasses, right? Yeah, like you grow up with it, you don't think too much of it.
Yeah.
And then I start explaining all these very interesting things that are being studied right now. You know, the coronal heating problem, where the surface of the sun is cooler than the atmosphere of the sun, which doesn't make sense. Or coronal mass ejections, which is what create the aurora here, you know, things like that. And those could actually be dangerous for Earth because they can affect our technology, our satellites, our GPS, you know, our power grid. Yeah. So there's the sun is
it happened recently, right?
Yes, like it happens all the time. Yeah. Even during solar minimum, sometimes we have coronal mass. Like it's during solar max, during solar minimum. Now that we're so reliant on technology, all of these ejections and solar winds, the solar wind that's coming from the sun, we need to be a little bit more prepared. We need to, because it interferes with our technology, you know, when it's coming our way. So once I start talking to them, you know, they ask all these questions at the booth, they realize how important the sun is for us. And so I think that's always great. And it's always the same. I think it's always the same conversation, but I don't get tired of it because it's always so interesting for everyone. And, you know, sometimes I like to talk about the sun, so I don't mind it.
So what you're saying is, like, most of us, myself included, just kind of take the sun for granted. We think it's going to be this, like, perfect, constant thing that's always just there for us. And we're not always so hyper aware of how, like, complicated and beautiful the sun can be.
Yes, honestly, yeah, it is that. I mean, I just went to a conference that where one of the posters was explaining how important it was for farmers.
Oh, yeah.
To understand when we're going to have an event because their GPS wasn't working during an event and they lost out on millions of dollars because their equipment was not working. Oh. So even for things like agriculture. Yeah. It's super important, right? So it's silly that, like, you know, I think we do take it a little bit for granted, but I think nowadays people are understanding more and more that we really need to pay attention to the sun.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Okay, so we're going to wrap up our EYU stuff here and move into how you became a heliophysicist. I can tell you're very passionate about the sun, but at some point in your life, you didn't really know about heliophysics either. How did you come to be a PhD student in heliophysics?
Well, it's a long story.
You can tell as much or as little of it as you want.
I don't, I guess I didn't really always know I was going to be a scientist.
Yeah.
I was always very interested. I used to watch, this is going to age me, but PBS Nova, where they used to show a lot of interesting, like, physics-related documentaries and things like that. And I was always super interested in physics, right? But I didn't think much of it. And I grew up in South Central LA, so there wasn't a lot of people going up to kids in these areas and saying, hey, did you know you could be a scientist? Did you know you can work for NASA one day?
We're working on that now.
Yeah, right? So
we're trying our best.
It wasn't really a thing that occurred to me until
Yeah.
later on. After high school, I actually got married and had a kid, and I didn't really go to school for a while. I just kind of, I was a stay-at-home mom for a couple of years.
The kid is very lovely, by the way. I'm a big fan.
He is.
Great volunteer. Also, he's the face of, like, many of our social media posts.
Yeah, he's in the background of a lot of them. So I kind of just didn't really start school until he started school. And that's where I had to figure out what I was going to do. And I was between film and physics.
Wow, okay.
Physics 1.
Yeah.
Even, like, that's such a crazy sentence, right? But once you're in physics, you also have to decide which field in physics.
Yes.
And so I said, okay, I love astrophysics. I need to stay. But then you also have to get more and more as you go on in your academic journey. You have to just become a little bit more and more pigeonholed, basically, into your own field. And so when I was thinking about what aspect of astrophysics I liked, I remember being mostly interested whenever I had presentations or whenever I had classes that talked about the sun. I just thought it was so cool. I was also like everybody else. I didn't know it was so important. I didn't know I had so much going on. I didn't know how interesting it was until I started being more exposed to it. And I decided that was my thing. That's what I wanted to study.
So cool.
And I started bugging all of my professors, asking, like, I want to study on this when I was at CSUN.
Yeah, that's Cal State Northridge.
Yes, when I was at Cal State Northridge. Sorry. I was telling all my professors I want to study the sun, and there are some professors there that study the sun, but not how I wanted to study the sun.
Yeah.
So I just kept telling people over and over. I mean, I did computational biophysics for a little while.
Oh, okay.
I worked on accretion disk related things for a little while.
I also did accretion disk stuff for a while.
Yeah, and I still didn't. That wasn't like my jam.
It wasn't my jam either. I was like, I know y'all love black holes. Like, there's enough people who want to do this. It doesn't have to be me.
Yeah, I like in the solar system. Really.
Yeah,
I know. I don't want to fight any astrophysics.
You can't, because they can't reply.
But I mean, I think it's cool for general knowledge.
Yeah.
For, studying black holes, studying, exoplanets, all that stuff. I do think it's a little bit more helpful to study things in
like
our solar system.
tangible.
There's more applications for it right now.
And we physically feel the effects of the sun. Like,
and we physically feel,
like when all of Salesforce went down a few years ago.
Yeah. When Elon lost all his, what do you call it? What was it?
I don't remember. It was really funny, though.
But it was really funny, and I thought it was funny, and anyway,
it was
another story.
Really funny how the solar flare just, like, disrupted all of modern day society for, like, 2 hours.
Like I said, the sun can really, like, mess with us right now.
Yes.
I just started telling all my professors I really want to work on the sun. If you can figure out who I can work with,
Yeah.
And there was one professor that did know someone, and I did my master's with her, where I was studying filaments on the sun, and then she actually introduced me to my advisor now, Marco Belli, because they're very close collaborators, and so I was already working with him a little bit when I was doing the master's, and when I finished the master's, they asked me what I was gonna do after the master's, and I said I don't know. Maybe
don't you just love when people ask you that?
Yeah.
It's actually an off limits question here. I never ask people that.
It is a little. Like your heart rate starts.
I know.
But, I said I don't know.
Yeah.
And they said, well, why don't you go get a PhD?
That's so funny.
And yeah, and I thought about it for a little while because that's 5 more years.
Yeah,
So,
it is. It's a long time.
but, I thought, cool, I get to actually study the sun even more in a way that I really, really like it, and maybe it'll open up more doors. So I started working here, and I started the degree here for a PhD, and I've been here since then. I'm in my 5th year now.
Yay.
And I do like what I'm studying. I do,
Yeah.
I do find it very interesting. So I think that's super important for me for if I want to have a job.
Yeah.
I want to have, if this is the rest of my life, I want to be interested.
I feel the same way.
You know?
I want to highlight just how cool it is that when you were like, I want to study the sun, you really put yourself out there and you went to go talk to as many people as you could, everybody in your network. Like, you didn't let that stop you. Like, the fact that the opportunity wasn't just falling into your lap didn't stop you from telling everybody, like, this is what I want to do. And I hope that other listeners who are in the same boat of wanting to do research but not knowing where to start can take this as inspiration, that you should just start telling people, like, the worst thing someone can say to you is, I don't have an opportunity. Like, but that's it. And just getting the word out there and putting yourself out there is so important.
Right. I think people underestimate how much networking
Yes.
you have to do in this field.
Yes.
So never be afraid to try to network. Never be afraid to tell people, hey, this is what I want to do. Do you know anybody who's working on that? Mm-hmm. Or, maybe can you keep an eye out for any opportunities that are coming, your way? That's how I got here. I just kept telling people, if you know of someone who works in this, let me know. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing that's how I'm going to continue on afterwards too. Are there opportunities, any postdocs, any jobs, any, researcher jobs? I'm going to have to ask.
Yeah.
And it's and not just in this field, every field.
Yes.
Like, never be afraid to ask. It's very important. Don't underestimate how much just talking to people, a nice friendly conversation.
Yeah.
Will always get you a long way.
And I think it's funny now that you and I are sort of on the other side of this. Like, whenever an undergrad comes up to me and they're like, I'm interested in doing your research, if I don't have a spot for them, I'm not thinking like, oh, that was so embarrassing for them. I'm just like, dang, I wish I had more opportunities for them to do research with me. Or like, I wish I could connect them to the person that they need to be connected to.
Right. Or you start thinking, well, let me think.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on, let me see. Who can help you? Who can help you? Like, you do want to offer that opportunity to someone who wants to study. So you do want to help. So never be afraid. Always, like, tell everybody what you want to do. I think that was my strategy and it worked.
Yeah.
Tell everyone what you want to do. Someone will figure something out and say, oh, I know of someone.
Yeah. I am kind of curious about this film thing.
Oh. I like to write.
Oh.
And
I didn't know that about you.
Yes. So I like scripts, stories, things like that.
Ooh.
And I think I liked film in general. And I mean, I've tried other aspects of film. Like, I've done like a little acting. I've done a little production side, which I don't like the production side. The production side is kind of boring to me. I like more of the creative side, but I also don't want to act because you don't control the story when you're the actor. So you're just kind of, doing whatever they're telling you. And
sometimes it's cringe and weird.
And sometimes, like, it doesn't make sense for the story, but you have to do it.
Oh,
so because of the
that's
story,
even worse than being cringe.
Like,
yeah.
I think directing and the script writing part and the directing is like the easiest way to control the story and the way you want to tell it with the feeling you want, the idea you have in your head. So that's what I liked. Mm-hmm. And I worked a little bit in a couple of like short films and things like that. I got a little bit of like experience just like in the field. I did like talent management just to see if that was my jam. I did not like that. Being a manager and being, all that stuff. No, not for me. Anything with paperwork, like for that is not for me. Even though, I mean, I'll have to deal with proposals for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the creative part. I like the that's my artistic outlet, I guess you could say. Some people paint, some people, do other stuff. And I like storytelling.
That is really cool. My artistic outlet, I think, is coordinating people to run events. That's what I've learned about myself more recently. You know
what it is? I think it's interesting. Because you know how I was the president of our department.
Yes,
the department's student organization.
Yes,
for a while.
the EPSS student organization, or EPSO for short.
So yeah. So I think sometimes, I think you and I have the personality to get it done.
Yes.
And so I think that's what falls on some of us sometimes, you know. Maybe you don't want to do it, but you are able to do it. So then you're like, okay, I'm going to do it and I'm going to get it done and it's going to be good.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I want to make sure it's good.
Are you an eldest daughter?
I am.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like we're planners, we're like, you know, organizers, we're like a little bit more of like,
yeah, we will think for everybody.
Yeah.
That's so cool though. I briefly lapsed that you were EPSO president because EPSO currently has no president.
Right. That's a little problem because, you know, I do think having a social life when you're in grad school is very important. You want to have a good work-life balance.
Yes.
I think for me, I've always had a good work-life balance because my reason is I have a kid.
Yeah.
No one's going to tell you, oh, well,
no,
do this anyway.
No, he's very important.
So it kind of, you know, I've always put him first. So it's always been I've never felt like I've been so overworked and so, you know, my advisor has been pretty good about, you know, he understands I have a life.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you pick an advisor who you knew was going to be accommodating of like the fact that you have a child?
I didn't really pick him. I was already working with him.
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't get to pick him, but I did get lucky in that he was accommodating in the fact that he understands, you know, I have a life, I have things to do. I might not be able to answer right away, like if it's midnight, you know. I know I've heard the horror stories, you know, of people who want you there at any time, 24/7. You know?
Do you have any advice for anybody else who may be a parent and wants to go back to grad school, how they should pick a spot?
Well, they should be pretty honest about their time requirements.
Yes.
I'm very upfront about that. I am only able to work from 9 to 5, you know.
Yeah.
I'm only able to work from this time to this time, and I will, you know, answer you back for that email, or I'll answer that, you know, as soon as possible, but I will be busy. And I think just making sure you're upfront about your time commitment, because that way they know you've already told them. And I think it's kind of hard to... I get a question a lot about, like, the parenting thing. Like, when do you think it's better? Before, after, like, during, all that stuff?
I would never ask you that.
It's okay. Because my answer is the same for everyone.
Okay.
You're never going to feel like it's the right time. Because if you're a first-time parent, you don't know what you're doing. It's your very first time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter, because if you're doing it before you have, you know, you go to school, it's going to affect you during school. Yeah. If you do it after you graduate, it's actually going to affect you in your career.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's how the pay gap actually works. It's not because men get paid more than women. It's because women take time to have kids, and that hinders their rise in the field. So it just try your best. Honestly, try your best, and hopefully it works out. It's worked for me.
It has worked for you.
I think, you know, I have a pretty good kid, and he and I have a pretty good relationship, and I've been able to get to this point in my, I guess, academic career. So yeah, it's just do it. If you think it's not doable, that's not true. I'm not the first one. Yeah. I've had a mentor before who is like a project manager at JPL right now, and she had the same exact basically story, and she was a mentor at CSUN for a while for me too, and I saw that she could do it, and so I said, okay, I'm going to try to.
Shout out her name really quick.
Clarissa Morales.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We love shouting out our positive mentors on this show, because there are so many of them.
Yeah, like as a woman in physics, having a woman in physics as a professor, or with a good career in the field, it gives you, you know, more of an understanding that yes, this is something I can do.
It's life-changing to see a woman, I mean, especially a woman of color, like seeing yourself in somebody else in the spot that you want to be in. Oh, nothing beats that.
Yeah. So I think just do it. I don't think it's ever too late for anything. I've seen people who are much older than me start at the same time as me. I've seen a lot of different experiences, and everyone's everyone's doing it. Everyone's going to be all right.
That's true. Nobody like spontaneously combusted in the floor
Yeah.
for being older than 22.
Yeah.
So cool. Okay, so you can either answer for yourself or your son, but if you were a child walking around EYU, what would you have wanted to hear from one of the adults there?
That's a tough question.
What would DJ Sunspot as a baby be? Like DJ Hydrogen Atom?
Oh, that's a really tough question, because I'll answer for myself, because I don't know what he would say. I mean, he's a teenager, so I don't know what crazy thing would come out of his mouth. But
I try to say positive things to him. I just mean like, you know, when somebody sees your son at the event, what should we be saying to him?
well, they usually are asking him for help.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's wearing
he's wearing the
shirt
t-shirt
that he works here, and he's usually telling you where to get in line and what we're doing.
Thank you. We need that.
So he's usually working. But if I was a kid, I don't know. I guess I've explained, like, I come from like a place that didn't have a lot of opportunities, or we weren't told there was a lot of opportunities like this.
Yeah.
So I guess just, it's not about what you're telling people, it's more about just exposing them to the ideas that anything that other people are doing, they could do too.
So baby DJ Sunspot, DJ Hydrogen Atom just needed to like walk around the event and see everything that was going on, and like know that the whole world is out there waiting for them. It's not like just only the things that they've seen before. Like there's so much out there.
Yeah, just explain, basically just show them all the things they could do.
You know
all
what's
the
so
things
funny?
in the world they could do.
I think that's why the title is Exploring Your Universe. That's really funny. And that's just like occurring to me right now. I always thought it was a joke on like space exploration, but now I think it might have actually been this.
It is. It's super helpful for kids to come here and see all the different types of ways they can explore the universe, because it's not just, space related. They also have geology. They also have, engineering, all the different things. And I think as a parent, I try not to push any specific thing on my kid. I'm telling him to explore all the different fields until he finds one that he likes. Mm-hmm. Because like I said before, if I'm going to have a job for the rest of my life, I want to like it.
Yeah.
So explore until you find something that you like. And that's great that the kids can come here and see, okay, well, I saw all these things. I didn't care about the sun. I didn't care about geology, but maybe, I'll do engineering.
Yeah. So they like the strawberries.
Yeah. So it's like, it's not about what you're telling them. It's just what you're letting them experience.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I think that was great. I'm so happy to finally have you on.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you had a good time.
I did.
Okay. One last thing. You mentioned you were going to plug a website with pictures of the sun.
Oh, yes. So there's a couple of them. But one of them is Solar Monitor. Mm-hmm. I believe it's a .org.
Okay.
But there you can go and you can see pictures of the sun today, yesterday, or in a specific date. Mm. And it's really interesting if you want to just see how the surface of the sun is, how the chromosphere, the photosphere. Just go and look at it, and I'll bet you'll think it's pretty.
I will
pretty cool.
definitely think it's pretty. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody visit solarmonitor.org. And thank you again to DJ Sunspot. With that, never stop exploring.